Imagine opening your door to get your food delivery only to find yourself staring at yourself. Sounds impossible, right? Well, stick around because I'm about to tell you how my Uber Eats order turned into a real-life horror movie. It was just another Friday night. I was chilling on my couch scrolling through Uber Eats trying to decide what to eat. I finally settled on some pizza and hit the order button. No big deal. Right. Wrong. About 30 minutes later, I heard a knock at the door. I got up thinking about how hungry I was and swung it open. My heart stopped. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like looking in a mirror, but the mirror was holding my pizza. The delivery driver looked exactly like me. Same face, same hair, even the same little scar on my chin from when I fell off my bike as a kid. I just stood there frozen. The driver's eyes went wide, and he kind of stumbled back a bit. He shoved the pizza at me and took off running. I was left standing there holding my pizza, wondering if I'd lost my mind, unraveling the mystery. I stood there for what felt like hours, staring at the empty doorway where my identical twin had just been. My mind was racing, trying to make sense of what I'd seen. Was I going crazy? Had I imagined the whole thing? But the pizza in my hands was real enough. I couldn't shake the feeling that something seriously weird was going on. The next few days were a blur of paranoia and sleepless nights. I kept seeing glimpses of myself out of the corner of my eye, only to turn and find nothing there. I'd wake up in cold sweats, convinced someone was watching me. I tried to track down the delivery driver through Uber Eats, but they claimed they had no record of my order. It was like it never happened. I even went to the pizza place, but they looked at me like I was nuts when I asked about a driver who looked just like me. Things got even weirder after that. I'd come home to find things moved around in my apartment. Nothing big, just small stuff. A book on a different shelf, my keys in the wrong spot. It was like someone was messing with me, trying to drive me crazy. I started digging into local news reports, looking for anything strange. That's when I found it. A story from a few months back about a guy who went missing after his last Uber Eats delivery. The kicker: he looked just like me. I couldn't sleep after that. Every noise made me jump. I started seeing my double everywhere, in store windows across the street, always just out of reach. One night, I woke up to a noise in my kitchen. I grabbed a baseball bat and crept out of my room. There, standing in the dark, was my double. He turned and smiled at me, but it wasn't my smile. It was cold, empty. Before I could react, he vanished into thin air. I'm writing this now because I don't know what else to do. I feel like I'm losing my grip on reality. Something impossible is happening and I'm scared out of my mind. If you've had anything like this happen to you, please reach out. I need to know I'm not alone in this nightmare, the terrifying truth. I thought I'd hit rock bottom, but little did I know the worst was yet to come. Remember that missing delivery driver I mentioned? Well, turns out he wasn't just missing, he was dead. And get this, he died on the exact same day I saw my identical twin. I found out when I was scrolling through some local news sites, trying to distract myself from the constant feeling of being watched. There, it was plain as day: missing Uber Eats driver found dead in abandoned warehouse. The article had a picture, and I swear it was like looking at my own obituary. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold my phone. I kept reading, hoping for some explanation that would make sense, but it only got weirder. The coroner's report said the guy had been dead for weeks, but people had seen him around town just days before. How was that even possible? That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that driver's face, my face, staring back at me. Around 3 a.m., I heard a noise in my living room. I grabbed my baseball bat and crept out there, heart pounding so loud I was sure whatever was out there could hear it. And there he was, my double, Standing in the middle of the room, grinning at me with this cold, empty smile, I raised the bat ready to swing, but he just laughed. It was my laugh, but all wrong. Hollow and echoing like it was coming from the bottom of a well. "Who are you?" I managed to choke out. He tilted his head, still grinning. "I'm you," he said. "The better you, the you that should have been." I blinked, and suddenly he was right in front of me. I could feel his breath on my face, ice cold and smelling like nothing, like the air in an empty room. "We've been waiting for you," he whispered. "It's time to come home." A warning to all. I'm still shaking as I write this. That UberEats delivery was just the start of a nightmare. I can't wake up from. It's like my whole world turned upside down the moment I saw my own face staring back at me. Since then, it's been a blur of paranoia, sleepless nights, and terrifying encounters. I've seen my double everywhere, in store windows across the street, even in my own apartment. And now I know the truth. The real delivery driver is dead, and whatever's taken his place wants me to. I need to warn you all. If you see someone who looks exactly like you, run. Don't try to talk to them. Don't try to understand. Just run. Because they're not here to replace you. They're here to erase you. And once they start, there's no going back. Who are we really? What's real anymore? I don't know, but I do know this. Next time you order food, you might get more than you bargained for.